be dead. Hi, everybody. I'm JP Sears, incredibly weirdly framed. If you're watching me on Rumble or YouTube, is it possible your RT something's went wrong? What? We're having trouble streaming to your destination. Is it possible we'll keep trying and let you know if it's resolved? Please check the destination to ensure the stream looks okay. If this continues for a while, I check the destination. One moment. Let's see if I can. Okay, now I'm watching myself on another screen looking like a moron trying to figure this out. So I think we're good. I hope we're good. So anyway, thank you for watching this amazing introduction I had. This is all choreographed. It's just strong comedy, strong entertainment. And but seriously, we're here to do some unserious things. First off, I have two selfish motivations for jumping on doing this live stream with you beautiful freedom lovers. By the way, if you're on here, you like communism, hello, leave your angry comments here. But my two selfish reasons why I wanted to do this is, one, I love human connection. I think it's the most valuable currency of our time. It's just the most important thing in the world. I think it's the one thing that gives us the most fulfillment out of, this destination. Wait, I might have screwed something up. I think human connection is the thing that gives us more fulfillment than anything else. So I love to connect with beautiful people like yourselves. The other reason, get ready for my selfishness, is I've got my comedy special coming out, officially launching tomorrow, October 25th. And I'm going to tell you about it. I'll tell you more about it a little bit later. But first, I'm just going to hit you with the big picture details. It's called Please Censor This. You can go to pleasecensorthis.com to get it if you want it. And I put my heart and soul into this. And like I said, I'll tell you more about it in just a little while. I want to get to some of your questions here first. But I'll leave you with this before we hit the questions so we can solve all the world's problems. Please Censor This. It has two versions. The just standalone special, Please Censor This, that's available. Love for you to have it. And then we've got a Freedom Lovers VIP edition as well, which comes with a bunch of bonuses, normal retail value, $965 million. And one of those bonuses is you become a member of my community, my Freedom Lovers community on Locals, where I'll be doing live streams every week. I'll also be posting a bunch of stuff and sharing resources, because I get so many people who are kind of frontline folks in the freedom fight. They send me stuff all the time. I get these texts. I'm like, this is amazing information. I don't really have a direct outlet to share this information as it is, because most of it would just be censored across big tech's versions of social media. So my freedom loving community, that's one of the reasons why I'm so stoked on it. I get to share everything with them. So again, please censorthis.com if you want to grab the special or the VIP community edition special. So I want to get to as many of your questions as we can, because we want to solve the world's problems tonight, don't we? Or create more of them. We'll see. But first, I want to take a look. Carpe Donctum says, "You're amazing, brother. Keep up the great work." Thank you. So appreciate that comment. And I want to start with a comment. I've got a question already received. Becoming a dad, JP, has that changed your views on health and education? Yeah, very much so. So I've got my little boy. He's about 1.5 years, going to be 2 in a little bit. How's that for math? He's 1.5 years, but then he'll be 2. But man, it hasn't really changed my views on health. I've had my views on health, they change and improve incrementally here or there, but I've been very cognizant of health for probably a good 21 years. But my views on education have changed massively. I used to think, dude, send your kids to just school. What's it matter? Why would you pay a bunch of money for private school or Waldorf school or homeschooling? And now I'm like, dear God, how could I possibly send my child to public school? It's one thing I used to think, it's just a crappy education, but I didn't really learn much in school. But now I genuinely see them as indoctrination camps, gender ideology. They're teaching racism. It's just an indoctrination where children are exposed, obviously, not only to teachers, but the peer pressure community to like believe what we think and believe what everybody else thinks. So my views have changed massively on education. Let's take a look-ski here. Hallie Purcell says, do you think you'll do something with Daily Wire or The Blaze? I would love to. I've had connections with folks from both those outlets, and I have a lot of respect for what they do. I think they're both really solving problems, because it's one thing to say, like, dude, the media, it's just full of propaganda. Then it's another thing for people to say, all right, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to start my own media outlet and have a core ethos that we try to serve, not serving brought to you by you know who. So yeah, the Blaze and the Daily Wire, I love them. And it'd be amazing if something came up where I get to partner with them in some way. Let's just see here. By the way, in the comments, I see a lot of FJBs. I like it. Yeah, I know who the community is. Just there we are, FJB. Wow, there's so many more of them. They're all over, like by different people too. Some are by the same people. Just there's a lot of comments trying to sift through. Cool. Where did that question go? The questions moved. It's like trying to hit a moving target. Kate is awake. Kate is awake. That's a cool username. My question: I was a lifelong liberal until they went off the rails. Are you historically a Democrat or a lifelong conservative? Thank you for the question. No, I've been fully enlightened my whole life. No. Yeah, give you the quick version of my story. I would say it's only been the past 2 years where I've been able to legitimately say I'm a conservative. And I'll say that with a footnote. Like, I'll call out corruption wherever I see it. Just right now, so much of it is on the left. The majority of it is on the left. So, but now the conservative values, they make sense to me. I have a family. Like, freedom is my number one value. And I thought we lived in a country where both sides are all about freedom. But apparently I was wrong. Freedom is now exclusively a conservative value. But prior to the past 2 years, I didn't know anything about politics. I couldn't even tell you what the difference, even a mild difference between a Democrat and Republican was. But looking back, I can say like, yeah, my behavior and thinking was more in line with liberalism, not leftism, but liberalism. It's like, hey man, like, let's not cut the trees down. And then I also believe some things that I now don't. I fell for some propaganda, a lot of it around the ever-changing climate. So, yeah, looking back, I can say, yeah, I would have been more liberal prior to 2 years ago, and I've absolutely changed my mind. Dude, I think a great definition of freedom is when one is willing to change their mind. Dude, being stuck, being a slave to your past thinking, that's the opposite of freedom, in my opinion. I see a hello from Northwest Ohio, my old stomping ground. Hell yeah. Bog Queen. I see Blake Williams, FJB from Atlanta, and FJB to you, Blake. Oh, it's great. Let's just see. By the way, thank you so many folks commenting in. I'm just overwhelmed by these amazing comments. I see a hello from Kansas. What's this say? Diamond Skeleton. I saw an article headline saying I am fine with my 9-year-old wearing sexy Halloween costume, and that terrified me. Terrifies me too. By the way, Nicholas Scott from Australia. Hello back at you. FJB from Oregon. Y'all are too much. No, you're not too much. You're the right amount. Let's see. By the way, if I didn't say it already, feel free to comment your questions then. See a lot of great comments and conversation. Conspiratory. I saw you in Canton, Ohio at Clay Clark's tour. Absolutely. Love that event. Chad Trower. So awesome to see you've been open to learn about the other side. Yeah, thank you for that. I think an open mind, it's like a parachute. It works best when it's open. Hell yeah. And then Ronald Berry, thank you for the awesome truths you share in such a hilarious way. Great job, dude. Thank you, Ronald. I appreciate that. Then I got to tell you, I feel so blessed to be able to do what I do. I just voice my perspectives through the language of comedy. And it's just something that it fills my heart and soul, gives me a sense of incredible purpose. It puts food on the table for my family. And I get to connect with, quite frankly, millions of people who want to see what I put out. So, man, I'm just blown away by y'all. Shelb Shock. JP, I was wondering your take on government attempting to fuse out fuel-powered cars when companies, corporate can't even provide proper charging resources or the infrastructure. It's terrifying. Yeah, appreciate the question, Shelb Shock. Yeah, my take on the government trying to phase out fueled cars, oil-powered cars, to me, it looks like nothing but an attempt to gain more control. And of course, it's fear-mongering based, like you're going to kill the planet. And while I'll never argue like pollution's a bad thing, it's absolutely horrible. I do believe their agenda, if you made me wager, I would put my money on, yeah, their agenda is about control. I don't think these tyrants give a damn about helping anybody other than themselves. That's my opinion, and I'm using free speech to convey it. Frederick Johnson, thanks for doing what you're doing. Ever thought about following George Carlin? Serious comedy. Yeah, George Carlin, I have thought about following. Obviously, he's deceased. But yeah, I think what I try to do, we're raising societal awareness and self-awareness through comedy. I think George Carlin was the absolute pioneer in that. And I'm not trying to compare myself to George Carlin, but I'm just saying I mostly get to do what I do because the others came before me. And I think he was the pioneer. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Cool. I got those questions. Yeah, I want to tell you, it's a handful to like they're trying to focus on a comment, then like 12 more come in and displace those. It's good. It's good. I feel oppressed by having millions of followers because sometimes when I'm trying to read a comment, a bunch of other comments displace it, and it doesn't feel like a safe space. So anyway, I'm trying to find another. Da, 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 da. This looks like Truth Clips. How much of your video presentation is a persona and how much is really you? It's a great question. I would say the content that I'm presenting, that's really me and my perspectives. So that comes from a part of my persona. But as far as how I act in videos, man, I would say it's anywhere from 20 to 90% me, just depending on the video. My natural sense of humor is very satirical. It's very dry. Just saying something with a straight face that's completely off the wall. So like the satirical newscaster videos I do, I'd say that's kind of, obviously I amp up and change the tone of voice to do the newscaster thing, but 80 to 90% of that persona is just me. Wouldn't it be funny if, because sometimes I do those leftist teacher videos and like the lingerie and horrible looking clown makeup. Wouldn't it be funny if I'm like, yeah, that's just me. It's 100% of my persona, no act. It'd be scary. Crystal Greco, which, by the way, thank you for the super chat donation. I was just joining Locals before you came on. Thank you, JP, for making us laugh while addressing real issues. Appreciate it so much. Do you follow Pierre Poilievre, the next Prime Minister of Canada? I think you would appreciate what he's doing. Much love to you. Thank you, Crystal. I don't follow Pierre. I'll check into him, and God help Canada with the current Prime Minister. So yeah, I'll take a look at it, Adam, and I appreciate you sharing your endorsement with me because, man, I would love to see Canada get some help in their leadership. It'd be cool if Canada just had leadership. Let's see. White Bear 2. Shameless plug for my own channel, but me and my wife love your work. Keep it up and line up those chakras. LOL. Thank you, White Bear 2. Plug has been plugged. Yeah. So yeah, in a second, I want to look at something. Question. Sophia Miles, since Fauci has been a butthole, just censorship, they just, play the game. Since 1986, how do you think he can be stopped? Well, that's a good question, Sophia. How can Fauci be stopped? Man, I got to share one thing on that. First of all, Fauci actually took his position at the NIH in 1984. No coincidences there. It's kind of creepy when you think about it. But man, here's one way Fauci can be stopped. Jeff Hayes just released a fabulous documentary called The Real Anthony Fauci. And you can go to thetruthfauci.com to check that out. You can also go to therealanthonyfaucimovie.com. But anyway, I watched all of part 1, and I got a special preview of part 2, which I believe is being released tomorrow as well. And it's just phenomenal. Like that Jeff Hayes documentary, The Real Anthony Fauci, that is maybe how Fauci can be stopped. I mean, it exposes so much. It's heavily based on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book called The Real Anthony Fauci. It exposes so much. I mean, the world deserves to know everything that this guy has done, all the backdoor deals, all the corruption. I will legitimately say, from my point of view, crimes against humanity. So the world needs to know. And again, you can go to thefaucitruth.com to check that out. And I believe you can watch it for free for another few days or so, another half week. It's worth it, if you ask me. And of course, he's retiring in December. Is that going to? No. I personally believe Fauci's trying to save himself. I think he sees the red wave that's coming. All the polls show Congress is going to be flipped. Hopefully, there won't be honking that really changes that much. And the GOP has already said, when we flip the House, you are being investigated, Fauci. And my guess is he's just trying to run as far from the investigation as he can, maybe make it less severe, maybe thinking he can evade it. But this guy, I suspect he's so power hungry, there's no way he wants to retire of his own volition. His next job's probably going to be CEO of whatever the hell pharmaceutical company. So I don't think he's actually retiring. I think he's hiding. I think the guy is a piece of garbage. Paltrin CA Music. JP, Paul/Buffalo. Show was hilarious. Everyone go. Just a friendly follow-up. Most people don't know what true Christianity is in the West. The ancient path of holy orthodoxy awaits you at the bottom of the rabbit hole. Thank you, Paul. And by the way, I remember you from the VIP Q&A. Thank you for sharing your perspectives here, my brother. And thank you for everybody who came out in Buffalo. Man, I had more fun at those shows than I had at any other show in recent memory. You Buffalo weirdos are just amazing. So with that said, I want to tell you a few special things about the comedy special. The last question I want to get to is one that was pre-sent in, and it says, what can I do to help the freedom movement? I think that's the most important question I could possibly speak to. I don't have all the answers. I just have an opinion and a perspective that feels like the most powerful thing I can conjure up. And here's what I think you can do to help the freedom movement. You might have heard me say it before. You'll hear me say it again because I feel it's very damn important. And I need the constant reminders. That's why I say it all the time. But here it is. Letting your words and actions be in impeccable alignment with what your heart knows and feels is right. Letting your critical thinking be a secondary captain in that ship, but primarily letting your words and actions always be in impeccable alignment with what your heart knows and feels is right. That takes courage to do. Sometimes it's easy to do. Other times it takes courage to do. It feels uncomfortable, and we're not going to do it unless we have the courage to do the thing that feels uncomfortable and scary. And that's how we make a difference. We certainly don't make a difference by retreating deeper into our comfort zone. No difference is ever made there. We just catch our breath, relax. But the call is to go outside of our comfort zone. So having impeccable alignment with your words and actions, whether that's conversations, whether that's sharing what you truly think about things on social media, your outlets, whatever they might be, whether that's, your work, if you have a calling to express yourself in any kind of way to try to deliberately reach other people, don't play it safe. Playing it, a lot of people play it safe. They're like, dude, I could offend people, then I could get disapproval. I could get deplatformed from a tech company. So it feels dangerous to let my words and actions be aligned with my heart at all times. So maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just play it safe. Only one problem with that. The world we live in today, playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you could ever do. Because when we play it safe, we're consenting to the erosion of freedom. And that creates a very dangerous world. You extrapolate it, authoritarianism, tyranny, communism. That is very dangerous. People lose their lives. They lose all quality of life. So playing it safe leads to the most dangerous consequences that history has proven happen when people play it safe, surrender their power, their sovereignty, their rights, their freedoms. But in the moments where it's like, dude, okay, speaking my mind respectfully, we don't have to be a raging lunatic. Please don't be, actually. On the times where it feels scary to speak my mind, to be honest with people, might feel dangerous. That's just in the moment. That's a trick. Doing the dangerous thing here, that's the safest thing we can ever do. Why? You just imagine the world that's created when people rise to the occasion of having courage to keep their sovereignty, keep their freedom, and pave the world with that. A free world is a safe world. So that's the paradox of our time. And that's what I believe you and I can do most effectively to make a difference in the freedom movement, always having the awareness and the courage to let our words and actions be in impeccable alignment with what our heart knows and feels is right. Period. That's what I try to do every day. I'm not perfect, but that's what I aim to do every day. And I'll tell you, for me, it was really hard. Back 2.5 years ago, when I started speaking up for freedom, I was like, whoa, I get backlash. I've never gotten backlash. I was like, F it. There's no choice here. I have to do it because I've got a little boy on the way. He's here now. It's the biggest blessing in my life. But in my time, the little boy's coming, and there's a conversation I'm never willing to have with my son. One where I have to explain to him 2 things. 1, what freedom was. And 2, why his father didn't do anything about it while he had a chance. But no. Time to live dangerously. Time for me to feel my fears and have the courage to go deeper into those fears, following my heart, doing and saying what my heart knows is right. Which, by the way, you do that after a while and it ain't that scary. It's actually called freedom. That's what it feels like, to let your words and actions be in alignment with your heart and soul. Tyranny is when we don't allow ourselves to do that. There's no one outside of you. There's no tyrant outside of you, no censor outside of you that will treat you more tyrannically than you when you're not allowing your words and actions to be in impeccable alignment with your heart. You are creating a very internal communistic state. There's no freedom there. So that choice is ours. By the way, going to get a little airy-fairy here. I believe when we make the internal choice of freedom, words and actions in alignment with our heart and soul, we're being the example of freedom. We're vibrating at the frequency of freedom. And I dare say at the vibrational level, that too influences the world. Or if we choose, hey, world, I'm going to vibrate at the frequency of tyranny because that's how I'm treating myself. I'm taking away my own freedom, not letting my words and actions be in alignment with my heart and soul. Then we're sending out tyrant vibes. And it's our fault when we do that. So the choice is yours. And I know if you're watching this, you choose freedom. And I just want you to know you're not the only one who sits there and says it's not easy to do sometimes. Sometimes it's hard. It's scary. We can fear loss, fear consequences. I'm here to say I feel those too. And I do my best to choose freedom anyway. So with that said, I want to share a quick little thing about my comedy special. It's called Please Censor This. Now, over the past 2.5 years, the agency I work with, they've told me, JP, during COVID, the year of 2020, we represent a lot of comedians. And nobody did more comedy shows than you. There were some weekends I was doing 15 shows in a single city because I had half capacity. I'm like, I want to serve everybody. Let's do more shows if we keep selling them out. And we did. So over the pandemic times we live in, I did so much touring and I was able to synthesize a ton of material. My personal life, developing a family, but also a ton of material representing freedom voices through the language of comedy. And that got culminated in this special, Please Censor This. It's my very first comedy special. There's been hundreds and hundreds of hours on stage, if not thousands, that I took developing and refining this material, where I had two agendas. I want to represent the voice of freedom and make people laugh while I'm doing it. So without sounding too cliche, this special is special to me. But more important than that, based on tons of folks I get to talk to when I'm doing comedy shows and meeting people there live. I've met tens of thousands of people over these past pandemic times doing shows. What I've learned is number one thing they say to me is, thank you for doing what you're doing. You were the voice that I needed so I could feel like I'm not the only one with these points of view. And that's not something I take lightly. So I won't really call this my comedy special, even though I have. So now I'm a hypocrite. I would like to call it our comedy special, because for me, it was like really co-created. And yes, it's my literal voice, but not for everybody in the world, but countless freedom fighters. They have told me face to face, this is really our voice, JP. And that's what this special aims to be. I absolutely hope you pee yourself while you're watching it, laughing. And I absolutely hope that you can resonate with the message that's in a lot of the different jokes and bits that I do on stage. So it would be an absolute pleasure to me, or an honor to me. It would be a pleasure to me for you to have the pleasure. It would be an honor to me if you checked out this special. Tomorrow it officially launches, but if you get it tonight, we're doing a pre-sale launch where you get it at a discount. So you can hit up the link. You'll see it on your screen here if you're on Rumble or YouTube. Please censorthis.com. And when you go there, you'll see you can get access to the comedy special. It'll be released tomorrow morning, but you get the last day for discount today. So you can get access to the regular comedy special. And we also did a Freedom Lovers VIP bonus edition, which is very community oriented. You get 3 pieces of video bonus content, a behind the scenes session on my ranch where myself and my director, Brent Pella, we're out literally getting bit by goats filming it. I did a freedom principles lesson, which taught you the core freedom principles that I've learned are essential over the past few years. And there's also a live Q&A filmed from the shows that night. So those are a few pieces of the bonus content, but my favorite part of the bonus content for the Freedom Lovers VIP bonus edition is the community that you get entered into. So it's a Freedom Lovers community. It's on Locals. You'll find an easy path into that if you choose that version of the special. And that's a year-long membership into my Freedom Lovers community. And in that community, it's meant to be the voice for freedom lovers. It's meant to be a platform where you get to voice your voice completely uncensored, so you can contribute to supporting and informing fellow freedom lovers, and they get to do the same with you. And it's a place where I get to do weekly live streams for members only. It's a place where I get to share resources that I can't share anywhere else, not on big tech anyway. And I might have mentioned something in the beginning, but I have so many friends who are either frontline doctors or frontline other people in the fight for freedom. And they send me resources all the time. Like, yeah, JP, like, I thought you should know about this. And some of it gets synthesized in various ways into my videos. But a lot of these resources, like, I want everybody to see these. Problem is, if I share it out on Twitter, get deplatformed like that. Censorship. Welcome to 2022. But in the Freedom Lovers community, that's a place where I get to share those resources with members. You get access, you're in the community. And that fulfills a need I've been having for a long time. So there's already a ton of people in there, and I'm looking forward to any of y'all joining if you'd like. So with that said, you can go to pleasecensorthis.com last evening to get the discount on the special. And you can also choose the Freedom Lovers VIP bonus edition of the special. You get the special, the bonus features, the community. Consult your doctor, whatever is right for you. By the way, if you love communism, you won't like the special. Don't waste your money. But if you love freedom, I like to consider this special the first special I've ever been aware of that's made specifically for freedom lovers by a freedom lover with the support of the freedom loving community that I happen to be getting to voice on the special. So put my heart and soul into it. I'm going to leave you now into your evening. I want to thank you. I want to invite you to do something to move the needle forward for freedom here in the next 24 hours, whatever that might be. By the way, kindness is always a great place to start. And mostly, I want to thank you for being here on Team Freedom with me. It matters. And I don't say this lightly. I say it because it's true. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. I hope I don't. Hope it doesn't come to that. But it is the hill I'm willing to die on. And there's many other hills that I think are important, that I want to support, but I'm not willing to die on for anything. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. Freedom. I believe it's the very thing that makes life worth living. That's why you look throughout history. When people are deprived of freedom long enough, they become willing to die in the name of regaining their freedom. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's why this is the hill I'm willing to die on. And it's a pleasure to be here living on this hill for you. I do think freedom wins. I honestly think freedom might have already won. We just have to continue the momentum to convince the rest of the world that freedom has won. Even if freedom hasn't officially won yet, it will, because freedom's God's way. Just the question is, what's the timeline it takes for freedom to win? Thank you for joining me, my wonderful friends. And last shout out, if you'd like to check out my brand new comedy special, you can go to pleasecensorthis.com. This is the last day to get the pre-sale discount. And if you do check it out, that would mean the world to me. It's also a great support for me and my family. I run into a lot of people like, JP, how can I support you? And purchasing the special is actually a super supportive thing for me and my family. And just know we appreciate every drip of support that comes in. And if you do check out Please Censor This, send me a message. Anywhere on any platforms, please send it my way. I'd love to hear what you think. You love it, you hate it, you made you think, made you laugh, made you have chronic fatigue syndrome, it cured you of hair loss, maybe. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, my friends. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and stay free.